Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Yomawari, Night Alone. Why did they add that subtitle? Was that subtitle there for the Japanese release? I don't think it was. But they went and did it anyway. Also, funny thing about this screen here, I thought this was a loading screen at first, but turns out this is actually where you're supposed to press start. Or X, whatever you prefer. Not much in the way of options. It reminds me a lot of that other game, Hitaro no Nikki, the Firefly Diary, or however the hell you pronounce that. You can choose to delete the one save file that you have, which kind of sucks, because that would mean I have to do some shifty save data shenanigans in order to actually get this done, and I have. I completed up to chapter 4, which is about 2 hours into the game, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. It doesn't tell you exactly how long you've been playing for. And I backed up my save from the start of chapter 4 to the cloud, finished the chapter, so I got to chapter 5, and then I brought the save back down again. So now I can do the chapter that I just did, hopefully a fair bit quicker, and I'll be able to show off the game in the process. So, let's get scratching. That's what they say in Jet Set Radio, right? I actually have a video for that on my channel somewhere, but it's not going up for a while, not until I absolutely need to. But anyway, just a little bit of a warning. As I said before, this is chapter 4. This is about halfway through the game, because there are about 7 chapters. There are no spoilers for the overall plot of the game until the very end. And if I don't very loudly yell that there's a spoiler alert coming up, I'll flash it on the screen and then make a sound effect. Okay? Most of the video, no spoilers though, so you'll be able to see at least how the gameplay looks like, right? So, let's go. This is our home base, and we can come here to save manually. There is auto-saving outside, but it doesn't count for anything until you actually come back here and save, or if you save at the end of a chapter, for example. So, you need to remember to come back here to save properly, otherwise you won't get a save at all. You have some, what's the word I'm looking for? Not heirlooms, just memoirs of things that you can slowly collect around here, because I had a few by the time I was on chapter 5. But for some reason, coming back to chapter 4 means I've got none of them, so you can't show you them. You actually pick up a lot of useless items in this game, and they don't have any sort of description or anything. Like, if I hit start, it'll show us the map that we've got, and this will show us all the different places we can go, although there's really no point. This game is a lot like Corpse Party, where you wander around and you have a very specific goal to do at a very specific part of the place. Although you can go back to other places, there's really no point unless you're looking for items that you missed, right? So there's... yeah, so that's pretty much it. There's also the scrapbook, which contains the items that you have collected so far. And, yeah, there's no, oh. Never mind! Turns out there are some items here. So, yeah, you've got a fair amount of descriptions here. How did I not see that before? I spent ages looking for this screen, but I still couldn't find it. That annoys the shit out of me. But there you go. That was stupid of me. You can also press triangle here to look at the previous chapter summaries, and you can come here to check the options. So let's actually go out and have a bit of a look around, shall we? The controls are very simple. You press triangle to change what item you want to use with the shoulder buttons and all that. You can press circle to throw the items, but you can't do it while you're inside. You can press L to tiptoe, and it also locks your direction. You can press R to run, but that takes stamina. And if you run out of stamina, you're frozen for a couple of seconds. Not the best thing in the world. You also have your flashlight. Your flashlight is pointed in the direction you're walking in, but you can modify the angle via use of the right stick. So, but you can only do it in a sort of 140, 150 degree angle around you. So, you have to, in order to keep eyes on stuff behind you, you have to be constantly spinning around. And there's a very good reason for that. We have a Jizo. I keep thinking Jinzo, like the freaking Yu-Gi-Oh monster, but no, this is a Jizo statue, and when you give it a coin, it will autosave and let you respawn at that spot. You can also use them as a fast travel system, so you can use this to go to pretty much anywhere else you've been previously, but as I said before, this game's very story-driven, and once you've been through an area once, unless you missed an item or two, there's no real point in going back to any of them, so there's no point to that. You can also use the select button to turn off your flashlight, which is very useful. You may have noticed there's a little bit of an effect going on the screen here, which is very bad, because there are monsters in this game. See? He's just right there. I might have to artificially brighten the video a little bit so you can see that. But as you can see, that's a monster. We want to walk away from this monster, or try to run. Notably, it takes a lot of stamina to run if you're in range of a monster. So, even if you can't see the monster, if you run and you start losing stamina real fast, it's a great way to know what's around you. So, let's head south. And this is where we go to start the story. I actually went to a couple of other places before I went here, because the way this game works is that you're meant to actually look around for the area you're supposed to go to next, and that took me like 50 minutes. But if you know what you're doing in this game, you could probably rush it in a couple of hours. But again, since you have to look around, it will take some time. So, we'll just follow... Oh, hey, a cat. You can actually do something with these cats. You can throw these objects, and for example, I'll just throw that fish. I don't know where the cat is at the moment, but it might come to get the fish. I don't know, but I'll just... Whoops. I'll just take it anyway. You do have these coins, which strangely enough you can throw, but they are also your save tokens. Like, it determines what you can do. Brain work with me here. That's not what I meant to say at all. It determines when you can save. If you've got a coin, you can do a quick save. Thankfully, you can go right back home and save anyway, but without any coins, but you don't really need to. You don't need to worry too much about running out of quick saves, I'll tell you that much. Because items in this game are actually really easy to find. They're usually all over the place. And the items, yeah, you get an absolute ton of items. Like, I've got like 8 pebbles because I haven't needed to use these because as far as I can tell, there's no real use for them. I mean, you're supposed to throw them out to like distract the monsters, right? But I haven't been able to get a monster distracted by one yet, so I've just been relying on just like trying to cleverly weave my way around said monsters and, well, that's a thing. Whoop, there's the dog. We can follow the dog, or we can try and figure out what's making the heart beat so fast. That'll do it. Let me out. Let me out. I actually fell for that trap once before, and as it turns out, there was a flippin', what's the word I'm looking for? There was a flippin' few enemies nearby, and they were more than happy to come and wreck my shit. Let me put it that way. I don't want to die too fast, mainly because of, well, reasons. But yeah, as you can see, the game is fairly open world, more or less. I mean, you can go pretty much anywhere you feel like, as long as the path's unblocked. There are some areas you won't be able to access until that particular point in the story, but for the most part, the game's all about exploration and trying to find your way around. And I could have... Oh god, there it is! Yep. So that's a monster. All the monsters in this game behave somewhat differently. They've all got different aggro ranges. They've all got different things that'll make them angry. They've all got all sorts of different stuff. And they all kill you in one shot. So this is a quick save spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate what happens when you get killed by a monster. I really shouldn't be doing this now because it's going to happen naturally anyway. Hi. Yeah, that's what happens. It's a jump scare, don't get me wrong, but actually, to be fair, in the couple of hours that I've played, the game hasn't made very much use of jump scares at all. I mean, like, excluding the fact that that's what happens... Shit. Excluding the fact that that's what happens when you die... Son of a bitch. Excluding the fact that that's what happens when you die, the only other jump scare I've seen in this game so far is... It's in the very first few minutes of the game where they, where you come across the first monster and it does this jump scare where it flashes it up in your face like Slender Man does in the Slender Man games, because everything in this game feels like just a version of Slender Man of some kind. See, free autosave coin right there. It flashes that up in your face for a couple of seconds, but then the rest of it is just, well, other than the, you know, death jump scare sort of thing. I mean, I'm not too against the death jump scare sort of thing, because it kind of makes sense. And it's, well, you're dead. So it's like, it makes sense that it needs to be communicated to you as quickly as possible. So yeah, other than that, I'm not too offended by its inclusion. You can also turn off your flashlight. Don't want to do that though, because of this. Hello, beastie. Hello, other beastie. You can hide in these bushes though. Unlike a game like Corpse Party though, where they will come in and find you when you hide while they can see you, in this game, that doesn't happen. As long as you're inside the bush, you're safe, or there's a couple of other things, like you can hide behind signs and stuff like that. Look at that thing! Look at it! What is that? Seriously, what the hell is that? It's some kind of weird, hairy, spider, crazy thing? I have no flippin' idea. There goes the dog again. The game's graphical style overall is actually, well, it's nice to look at, which is something you wouldn't expect. Oh, there are the hands. Thankfully, the hands can't kill you. They're just there to freak you out a little bit. But yeah, the graphical style of this game is something else. It's another one of those sorts of, things. I could have sworn that was the key that was meant to open this. Okay. That's a bit weird. I thought I would have gotten the key by this point. Oh dear. I can swear I remember going through that door, but how did I get there? How did I get the key that would let me go through that door? There's that ugly son of a gun again. I'm pretty sure I know where the key I'm looking for is. It's just... I'm gonna have to go back a bit, aren't I? Yep, I am going to have to do that. This is a thing that happens in this game a fair amount, actually. The only way you can really avoid it is by good luck in going to the right place first. And, well... sometimes you just don't get that lucky in this game. Alright, now we run. Wait, isn't this the place where that thing comes down and kills us? Guess not. Fucking eyeballs. I hate these things. As I said before, though, they can't get you while you're in here, so... just gotta wait for it to go away. But yeah, the eyeballs are dicks. They're real dicks. Because they always spawn like 6 of them, and they just fly all over the flippin' place. There's that cat again. Everything in the overworld has this weird tendency to respawn when you die. So, if you want to, like, grind resources, you can do that pretty easily. Now, I remember before I went into that area before, I actually went up to this area here, I think. Yeah, it was this area. And when I went up to this area, there were a couple of items for me to find, but I don't remember finding it. Uh-oh. You know, it's funny, I've never been killed by that horse before. Of course, I died in recording. That took a while. Yep, unfortunately, I have to go all the way back up there, because of course I do, right? There's the eyeballs again. But yeah, as I said before, the style of this game is something else entirely. It does remind me a lot of the Firefly Diary, because it has that sort of unique Japanese feel to it. Couldn't tell you if any of the monsters in this game are based off the, based off any sort of Japanese legends, but sure feels like it. I mean, if I had to guess, like, what the, motivation was behind these monsters, I'd probably say it was some kind of Japanese legend, because that's sure what it feels like. Let's see if I can try not to get killed by this horse again. Where did it come from last time? It came from up there, so maybe if I get on the other side of the road. Yep, there he goes. And that's a monster. And that's something I can't go past. Could have sworn I was meant to go up in this direction. And yeah, these things can't kill you. Yes, they can! Shut my mouth. Great, I could have sworn that... Alright, let's go exploring around a bit more in some other direction. Maybe there's another key that I missed. Around here somewhere. What's this in the middle of the road? A paper plane. I could have sworn those crayon things can't kill you, because I swear I ran into one of those, I've ran into those things like 3 times already, and they're usually not supposed to be able to hurt you. I've seen that sombrero before. I know it's probably not a sombrero, but that's what it looks like to me. Yeah, I don't think I have the way through this door. There's some hands. Really is faster just to wander around by running around, and if you happen to be close to a monster, you start slowing down. So it's real good for you. Yep, one of those guys. They're not very friendly. Free autosave coin, but I don't think we'll be needing it. What the hell is that thing? I haven't seen that before. Free pebble. Where the hell am I right now? Alright, this is the way back out into the woods. And let me guess. Yep, there he is. I could have sworn I was able to get through that door with one of the keys I already had. There's another autosave coin. Oh, there it is. Not entirely sure why I didn't see it the first time, but there you go. So let's actually get on to the actual stage part of this. Generally, once you're into a locked off area like this, there's a bunch of special enemies around. And there's a bunch of things like this where the challenges are relatively unique and you have to get past them. And one of these challenges, as I found, is this really fucking annoying ghost lady who's really good at killing you. And there are these notice boards that tell you little bits of the story, or at least give you a rough idea of what's going on. Can't go through that door yet. We can get through it eventually, but we can't get through it right now. Something's nearby. Oh yeah, it's these things. These things are oddities. They're real oddities. You can only... Oh, Christ. You can only... Well, when they get lit up, they don't get lit... Oh, yeah, well, now it gets lit down, but yeah. If you light them up with your torch, they will kill you. You can walk right through them if they're not lit up, but if they're lit up, they will kill you. See? Almost had that one after me, but he decided not to, just because I managed to turn my light off just in time. There are a bunch of little unique challenges like this in this game. And you have to be very careful, because as you can see there, there's a bloody monster. And there's also bloody spider webs to show up. Would you call that a jump scare? I mean, I can understand why you call it a jump scare, but I don't really call it a jump scare because it doesn't... Like, you can still keep playing, it's just... a real pain in the neck to do so while it's still a thing. I don't think there's any monsters here, just these guys. There's supposed to be something around here that's supposed to help you out with this, but I can't seem to... Oh, shit. I can't seem to find it. I know it's here because I've seen it before. Hey! Place to dig. Warped marble. Okay. There are also items that you can pick up that'll help you with some things, like, monster there. No monster up here. This is it. And I'm dead. Yeah, that happens. Thankfully, there's no real penalty for dying, so... There we go. Alright, that's the item I was actually looking for, because we need that to get on through. So, as I said, unique challenges come with every... Unique challenges come with everything, and this is one of them. So, These torches are actually capable of setting off these guys and forcing them to come to a specific part of the, well, specific part of the place. So, let's just avoid that. Unfortunately, this is not a proper save point. Save point, sorry. Just hide in here, make sure he's not following me. He's not. Let's go. There's a spider again. One of the unique challenges they actually give you in this game is a bit of a tit, especially the one in Chapter 3. The one in Chapter 3 is one of the worst bloody things imaginable. Mainly because they force you to go up against this, like, ghost lady. And it's the most annoying thing in the world, because you have to be walking slowly and then you have to run out of the way of her attack, and it's really frustrating, if you want me to be honest. But it still manages to be interesting. There are a lot of interesting things in this game. The way that it tells the story about the world by having it on all these notice boards, while... Yeah, this is actually the safe one, which is funny, considering how close it is to a freaking, is to the freaking ghost hands. The other way is just the way to a secret challenge, and I won't bother spoiling how to solve that one, but it's there. Just grab those extra torches real quick, then run like hell. There are also these cutscenes. You've seen some of the cutscenes before that tell the way about how the story works, and it's all interesting. It's very lightweight storytelling, which is, admittedly in horror, there's not much other way to do it other than getting really, really detailed, but it's very lightweight storytelling, and it's pretty neat how it does it. Oh dear. Oh no, I've done it now. I'm gonna die. Yep. It's pretty neat, lightweight storytelling, and there are some legitimate moments of sadness, at least from what I've seen before. You don't really know that much about what's going on until, well, at the end of this chapter, and even then you don't know that much about what's going on. So, oh god. Nope, he's on to me. I just keep running. You do have to try sections over and over again sometimes, and it does get annoying after a while. But yeah, you don't really know that much about what's going on, and even at the end of this chapter, you won't have much of an idea. But it's still just a really neat way to take a horror game, and while I'm not particularly scared by it in any sense of the word, it manages to remain compelling, which is a good start. Go for it. Thankfully, this is a save statue. Alright, I remember this. Spoiler alert time. It's coming soon. I'm gonna tell you that much. Except not right now. Because I just got eaten. It's neat. It remains neat and interesting in its first couple of hours, and I'll give it credit for that, Because that's hard to do. I forgot how to get past these fucking eyeballs. Oh boy. Okay. Let's keep the torch off and let's try and tiptoe. This probably won't help. That did not help in the slightest. Almost made it. The gameplay is basic, but it's a horror game, so what do you expect? The puzzle solving is, I mean, pretty much all the time. It's take A to B. There are a bunch of, like, consumable puzzles that you can do where you can get, like, things like puzzle pieces that are lying on the ground and stuff like that and use them to complete something, but I haven't actually gone... I can't actually see, like, what the, actual puzzles are. Because they haven't shown me how to actually solve those sorts of puzzles yet, so... There is a bit to do. One of the trophies for this game, though, is play the game for 50 hours, which is ridiculous, if you want me to be honest. Absolutely ridiculous. You'd have to leave your Vita on for a day just to get that done. I've heard people say it'll take about 5 to 10 hours to get through this game regularly, and, I mean, considering I've been playing for about 3 or 4 at this point, I can believe that. So, it's... I mean, if they price it right, like, if it's 20 bucks maximum, I wouldn't have anything against saying, hey, this is probably worth going and looking at. It's an interesting way of doing horror-style games, and, well, it's interesting enough for me to say that. I just hope they don't charge full price for it, because if they do, then, well, it would just seem to be a bit of a waste. But, you know, 20 bucks or less, and I wouldn't have any problem with saying it's probably worth your time to go and have a look at it. And trust me, that spoiler is coming really fast. Like, I'm pretty sure if I work my way up here, then work my way up the first left, the spoiler cutscene will automatically start. So... yeah, this is definitely it. Final spoiler alert. Get out now if you don't want story spoilers. You've already seen the sort of cutscene that they show you this for, so if you really don't want to see it, you have a few seconds. No more, no less. Are you gone? Alright, well, that's the end of the spoilers. So, Yomawari Night Alone is neat. I like it a lot more than I did the experiment that was the Firefly Diary. It's an interesting way of taking on horror. It's pretty minimalistic. It doesn't have that much in the way of gameplay or puzzle solving, and it's mainly just a fetch quest, but it does it in a neat enough way that I can't find myself saying I outright hate it like I would any other game that tries something like that. It does, what's the word I'm looking for? It performs well enough that what's the word? I mean, this probably isn't going to change your mind if you don't like horror-style games, but at the same time, I'm not really offended by its existence or anything. I need to stop using that phrase. I really do. That's a stupid phrase. I don't mind it. I'm interested. It's got me intrigued. I don't know what's going on. I like the designs of the monsters. I like how they all perform slightly differently. I like how it's got a little bit of an open world aesthetic to it where you can just wander around and try and find what you have to do next. And, well, I plan on continuing playing it at some point. I'll probably finish it. I won't 100% it because 50 hours in this sounds a little bit ridiculous. But I will continue with it. I will give it a bit more of a look later on, hopefully. And, well, if it's priced appropriately, if it's priced in like 20 bucks or less, I'd probably recommend you do so as well. So, yeah, it's neat. I like it. That's pretty much all I've got to say. And we head back outside and we go straight back onto another quest, because that's pretty much how it works. Unfortunately, there's no way to actually exit the game. You have to come save here and then you have to just close the game. So, yeah. So yeah, that was a quick look at Yomawari Night Alone. If it's 20 bucks or less, it's probably worth your time to check out. This has been Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time.